Konnichiwa. Today I'm going to show you how I mount the SG plate system on a snowboard. I ride 48 centimeters of stance on my binding. 48. That means I can ride approximately 54 to 56 centimeters of distance of the SG plate system brackets. The first thing that we have to mount from the SG plate system onto the board is these two brackets. There is one bracket which is moving with a moving metal piece. It's the sliding metal part. This we have to move. We have to mount to the front insert brackets, and this one we mount to one of the first 2 or 3 insert rows. Okay, so we have this, or this. I'm going to choose now the number 2 for the beginning, because we are going to take a 54 centimeter stance for the brackets. That means 54. Here I'm going to take these holes, these inserts. For the other one, and the rear bracket is the one that's only the turning and not sliding. So it's going to be this, just a short check, 54. To mount these brackets we use the screws with the washers. It's washers for safety and screws with 5mm Allen key head, and we fix them with these screws. It's very easy and quick, and take care to use a good amount of power to fix those screws, but not too much, to not destroy the inserts of the board. Just with good feeling that it's tight but not too strong, not too much power. And one more thing, for the rear bracket here, you can see that it's asymmetric with these little pieces here. That means this side is longer than the other side. That actually does not matter at all which way you put it, unless you're using it for very wide distance, like 60 centimeter. Then you have to take care that you put the longer one to the inside, because otherwise with the holes on the top plate of the carbon fiber you wouldn't fit anymore. But if you use like a stance with 54 centimeters, doesn't matter if this way or that way. Okay, so it's now mounted. The next step is that we mount the carbon fiber plate on the brackets. Therefore we have to think that the front binding will be mounted a few centimeters behind the center of this front bracket. Therefore we have to check which insert pattern we use here. So in general we use one of these two, like the second or the third, and therefore we have to check the axle here, and we're going to choose here these inserts, these holes, because here is the center of the bracket, and we are going to use these or this insert pattern, which means this one is 3 centimeters behind, this one is 5 centimeters behind. If we want to go even more behind, we can still shift the plate here, and then we have here 3 centimeters, 5 centimeters, 7 centimeters behind. So I'm trying now this variation, and with these screws I'm fixing the plate to the brackets. Further, for the front bracket you have to take care that this metal part, which is sliding, it's in the middle. Okay. Also here with these screws it's important to fix them with a normal amount of power, so like this, but not too much to not destroy the Allen key head, because this is 4mm Allen key head. It's enough power. Just check every screw if they are okay. Okay, strong enough. And just check if everything is strong and tight. If everything is tight, then we can proceed and go on with the mounting of the binding on the plate. Here the most important thing is that the front binding must be a few centimeters behind the center of the axle of the front bracket. That means the center of the front binding must be minimum 3 centimeters behind this point. So this is the center. I go 3 centimeters behind here. And then I mount here the binding. That means the center here and the axle here must have a distance of about 5 centimeters approximately. It can be more, but it shouldn't be less than 3 centimeters. So you can even go a little bit further back. For the rear binding, it doesn't matter if the center is right, the center of the binding is right above the center of the bracket, or a little bit fore or a little bit aft. Like it will be around 1 centimeter inside or 1 centimeter outside or around the center, but this is not so much important. Very important is the front binding, that it's behind this bottom bracket. So after mounting the front binding a few centimeters behind the bracket, it's easy to find out where I have to mount the rear binding. I just choose my 48 centimeters and put the center of the rear binding there, and this is my position for my bindings on the plate on the snowboard. In the beginning, when you start using the SG plate system, you will feel that you cannot steer the board by twisting the board, because this plate is torsionally very stiff. It allows to bend in the flex, in the natural snowboard flex, a lot of power to the edge. So when there is bumps or where there is ice, you have all the edge around here of the snowboard, all the edge in the snow, and have a good edge grip. In the beginning it might be a little bit difficult because you don't bend the board as much with your legs as you are used to, because you are in general riding the plate and the plate is giving the power to the board. So you're not directly with the board, directly connected to the board, and this gives some kind of suspension effect, that when it's bumpy, the plate gives a lot of suspension and takes a lot of the bumps. And on the other side, it gives a lot more pressure to the edge, because you don't torsionally twist the snowboard, and that's why on the ice you have a very good edge contact to the slope, which you're not used to before. In general, I personally ride 2 centimeters or 4 centimeters more tighter bracket distance in the slalom, and more wider in the GS. More wider gives me more stability for high speed and for longer boards, and more tighter bracket distance gives me more quick changing edges, turn to turn, which I need for the slalom riding. So just a little input that on shorter boards with short turn you can use tighter distance, longer boards longer distance. In general, it is like this, that you have to find out your own position on the plate, because everybody has a very different position, different body masses. Like I have long legs, other guys have short legs, and everybody has to find out his own position on the plate. But in the general points, you take care, it's very important. All the rest is just very little things you find out yourself.